tell you what to do, but you would never walk on the street past $20. You would pick the $20 up. You might clean it, you might sanitize it, but you would pick the $20 up. Welcome back to Wine and Chill and to our very late, I'm sure y'all are so tired of me being late, student loan update. Next year, I'm going to reset to timeliness. So every month I discuss how much of my student loans, my 6-figure student loans I have paid down. So this is going to be November's student loan update. Yes, you are not losing your mind. It is December 1st. Yep. And everything is retroactive. So this is what I paid in October. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right, so let's get into the numbers. If you're new, I started my student loan journey February 14th, 2020, right before the panorama at $304,680.17 trifling cents. In October, I paid $3,100, a bit low because I was putting towards holiday flights. I'm going home to Miami, also traveling for New Year's. So I'll get into that in a second, a little like budgeting suggestions. So the remainder that I have left is $209,690.56 trifling cents. It's a bit lower now, which we'll talk about in the December student loan update because I've already paid off what I'm going to pay for November. It's fine. It's fine. Timeliness is going to be one of my goals in 2022. Yep, I want to talk a little bit about a smidge about budgeting and then also what I've realized about the question of whether or not you should invest while you're paying down debt. And I'm just going to tell you a bit about like what I'm doing. Before we get into that, an update, the last time we talked about student loans, Fed loan was selling us all off to who knows who, which was distressing. So if you have federal loans, I believe Navient at one point decided like, hey, we're not going to work with the federal government anymore. We are going to send our millions of borrowers off to someone else. Navient has since changed its mind. Fed loan was doing the same thing. They said at the end of the year, we are selling all of your debts off to someone else, which I have been sad about that for multiple reasons. One being that I actually like Fed loan. Their user interface is very nice. They have always been kind when I call customer service. I did not want to get sold off. So I am glad that they've announced they are extending their contract with the federal government through the end of December 2022. Time is a construct. Like, am I really late? What year is it? I don't really know anymore. Yes, December 2022 is when Fed loan is going to, if you have Fed loan as your student loan provider, they are going to transfer you to a different student loan provider. So I'm glad that they're not. I think, at least for me, it gives me a little extra motivation to try and pay it off or as much off as possible by that time. So that way, whatever gets transferred is hopefully a smaller amount because I like things the way they are. I like how everything looks. I know where to look for everything. I know now where to see what my daily interest is going to be when we get back into regular payments. If you have federal student loans, they're currently in forbearance until January 31st, 2022. And then we're getting sold off back into the woods of, yeah, run me this money. So yeah, that's where that. And then the second update, which I'll link below because if you haven't been following along, you'll be very confused as to why I'm very stressed about the price of grapes and inflation. But yes, a little grape update and a little grocery budget update. After me, coming on here and telling y'all the price of grapes is out of hand, and we only buy grapes, Gabriel and I, because Gabriel eats a copious amounts of grapes. I would just like to report that man has stopped buying grapes. He has since decided to buy economical apples. Yeah, a little public shaming is good for people. They were $10 a bag. It was too much. It was getting a little ridiculous. He's been buying apples. We have switched, which I told y'all, instead of buying meat in the grocery store. So we buy our ground turkey from the grocery store. But other than that, we've been buying all of our meat from ButcherBox. So ButcherBox is a delivery meat service, subscription delivery meat service that comes to your door. It's all fresh, it's organic, it is well priced. To be honest, that's what really got me. And so this month, if you use my affiliate code, which I will link down below in the description box and in the pinned comment, you will get $30 off of your purchase as well as 1 year of free steaks. So if you're interested and you want to do that, it's been working well. I think we've used it now for 5 months. So I really like it. We order the big box, which is 12 cuts of meat. I like 35 pounds of meat a month, which is a lot. But we eat a lot. So it's working out well. It's kept our grocery budget and the lack of grapes intact. So I'm very happy about that. So I'll link that below for y'all if y'all want to try that. Now that I have a fully funded emergency fund, I have been trying to revisit the question that we've talked about this a while ago, like last year, about whether or not people should invest while paying off debt. Because at that point, when I had first started my debt-free journey, the Dave Ramsey way is that you shouldn't. You shouldn't get your 401k match. You shouldn't do any of these things. And I'm always honest, I did start like with that until I was like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't have any money. So I have been investing a little bit. I currently, at my current job, get a 4% match with my 401k. So 4% of free money. It's like around $6,000. It's great. Why would I not take free money? Why would you not take free money? You know, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you would never walk on the street past $20 on the street. You would pick the $20 up. You might clean it, you might sanitize it, but you would pick the $20 up. So I have been doing the 4%, which is nice. Last year, because I felt so behind, last year was 2020. I have to remember what year we're in. That was the first real year that I invested in my 401k. I did a little bit in 2019, and by a little bit, I mean, I think it was less than $2,000. So I didn't have any money. There was nothing there. So last year, since I felt so behind, I did 10% of my paycheck while I was paying off debt. And I would keep changing. At first I started with Dave Ramsey and I did nothing. And then I was like, but I don't have any money. So then I started then I went to the 10%. And then I dropped it down, and then I did a little bit more, and I would go back and forth. This year I've done the consistent 4% since I do get the match. It feels nice to see interest work for you instead of against you. Apparently, according to all these articles I read, at 30 years old, you're supposed to have 1 year of your salary in your retirement fund, in your retirement account at 30 years old. Yeah. I don't have that. It's not really there yet. Apparently also the majority of millennials do not have that. So I don't feel that bad about it, but it does feel good to have the investments work for me. One of the things and the big reason why I started investing my money on top of, like, of course, I would like 70-year-old me to have some nice life, is because the tax in New York City is so high. And thank you to Jada. She sent me this really great TikTok earlier today. And look at her, just on time. She already knew.
This is how a salary of $100,000 actually looks like after income taxes and social security contributions living in New York. First, the federal government will want a cut and you'll be paying roughly $17,000. Then you'll be paying roughly $5,300 in state taxes to New York. About $8,100 will be contributing to social security such as FICA, Medicare, and disability insurance. Finally, if you live in the city of New York, an additional city surcharge of $3,500 should be applicable. This will leave you with about $66,100 for the year or $5,500 per month. Follow and comment to see your city next.
Because New York, we have federal tax, city tax, and state tax. Yes, for income, all three. So you pay the big three. And basically, this is an illustration, because people are always arguing about, oh, if you make $100,000, you're making so much money. No, you don't take home $100,000, particularly if you live in New York. I make 6 figures, but I make a little bit more than 100K. But I remember the first time I made 100K and I was like, wait a minute, where did I thought I had arrived. And I was like, I have arrived nowhere, not even to the subway. What is the purpose of this? So when you invest your money, and what I started to realize, like, okay, I can lower my tax bill a little bit if I invest into my 401k, because your taxes, it's pre-tax. You don't pay your taxes on your 401k when you invest it. You pay them when you withdraw the money, which most likely older me is not going to work. So my tax bill should be less, but we'll see. You never know what the tax is going to do. You never know. But that's like the principle behind it. So you pay less tax up front right now. So it does help lower your tax bill when you invest into your 401k. So that was one of my big reasons. Also, just to put this out there, I'm all for, yes, let's help society. And yes, particularly, pay your fair share. However, as I have ranted and raved about multiple times, The billionaires do not pay their fair share. The multimillionaires do not pay their fair share. It is we, the people that make between 100 and about like 250, that pay the majority of taxes. So currently, this is the federal tax bracket rate for 2021, 2022. I fall between 24 and 32, and I say between 24 and 32 because I'm a little bit a smidge above, which is why I fall into 32. But when I contribute to my 401k, it pushes me back into 24. That is good incentive. Also, specifically because in New York, with the city tax, I don't know where the city tax in New York goes. New York is full of rats. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that the rats have been chasing me in the street on my walk to the gym. So I don't know where the tax money is going. I really do think as American citizens, we need itemized receipts. I don't know where any of this tax money is going, to be honest. Why are there potholes in the street? So I would implore you, if you've never looked at the tax brackets, so you can just go on Google and find what the tax bracket is and see if like you're an edge case. You will save money in your taxes regardless by contributing to 401k, but particularly if you fall at the threshold between 22 and 24, or 24 and 32, 32 and 35, definitely invest into your 401k so that way you can lower yourself into the lower tax bracket. These billionaires need to pay taxes. Elon Musk is over there on Twitter boasting about how he doesn't pay taxes. Sir, I just want to note the way these tax brackets are set up, 24% runs from $86,000 to $164,000. There's a huge difference with someone that makes $86,000 in New York City for someone that makes $164,000. Both of those people shouldn't make, and I have been on both ends of that range. Both those people shouldn't be paying 24%. That's crazy. It's ridiculous. That's so much of your check, particularly when you live in these big cities and you have to also pay state and city tax. Honestly, y'all will know in like 2 weeks exactly how much I make because I have like a big professional career announcement. I pay around 35% in taxes, which irks my nerves because Big B is flying around space in a penis rocket ship, paying a less tax rate than me, than most people. I will link that video. The billionaires are legally scamming all of us for you to, outrage yourself as well. They're not paying tax. They're the reason why society is the way society is, to be honest. So yeah, in 2 weeks, we're going to do my December student loan video. And specifically in 2 weeks, I have a big announcement. I'm very excited. Smidge back, I did tell y'all I was going to talk about budgets for like a second. I have realized, and having gotten, I would say, a pretty decent grip on my finances these days, that your budget is fluid. And I say this to say to myself, when I first made a budget, I was like, I have to stick to this thing. It's regimented. If I break it, I failed. And I obviously used to break it all the time. So I would feel bad until I realized, wait, it's my budget. I made the budget. I can change it. So for holidays, I always allocate like, okay, this is how much it costs for my holiday travel. This is how much it costs if someone's visiting. Shayna's visiting me next week. Obviously, my best friend is in town. We are going to go eat and we're going to go eat good. So I have made a line item for her. Like, oh, we're going out to dinner. We're going to do these things, etc. That makes it so much easier. It takes off the stress. There's no, I have left the rice and beans, what is it? Gazelle-like intensity a long time ago. What matters? The tortoise beat the hare. The tortoise beat the hare. Okay, as long as you continue on and don't fall off, and that's kind of how I do my budget. But yeah, so in a couple weeks, I have a big announcement, so I'm excited for that. So we're going to go a little bit more into budgeting, particularly like my sinking fund, a very specific sinking fund / my emergency fund. But yeah, we'll see. So how are y'all doing? How is your student loan payoff going? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Almost at 20K. So excited about that. So if you realize you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I will catch y'all in the next video.